Is this a good deal? It looks nice, but will it actually make me money? This is the question that paralyzes new and unexperienced real estate investors. Today, that guesswork ends. I'm going to give you a simple 5-minute test to use on every property you analyze to understand if it's going to be a good deal or not. At the end, I'll give you the spreadsheet for free to do it. By the end of this video, you'll not only get that free spreadsheet, you'll be able to analyze properties quickly, faster than 99% of other investors, which will give you a massive advantage and save you a ton of time as you grow and scale your real estate. The biggest mistake you can make is falling in love with the house. You see a new kitchen or potential in a nice backyard and maybe imagine yourself living there, and you let that cloud your judgment as to if it's a good deal or not. That's emotional investing, and that is a trap. Professional investors don't buy houses, they buy numbers. They buy cash flow. They buy equity. If you don't know your numbers, you're gambling. Let's take the guesswork out and understand if it's a good deal or not before we buy it. This is my 5-minute deal analyzer. It's very simple. We're going to focus on two main numbers. The first is the 1% rule to make sure there's enough value and rent to make this property make sense. And the second is a little bit deeper dive into the cash flow. We're going to do a cash flow formula. And this is not something I usually teach, but I think this is a good way for you to fully understand if it's a good deal or not. And this gives you the opportunity to quickly understand if this is worth pursuing and doing a deep dive into. Now, of course, if you're going to buy the property, you need to spend more than 5 minutes analyzing it, but this will save you gobs and gobs of time, energy, and effort to actually pick the right deals to do a deep dive in and shove away all the other ones that are a waste of everyone's time. Let's walk through this deal I found on Zillow. And again, I'm going to reiterate one more time. I'm not saying look at Zillow and buy numbers based off of Zillow. Look at Zillow to do a quick underwrite because their numbers are usually somewhat close, especially lately with AI and all the data that they're getting, but it's not good enough to actually write the check and buy the property, but this is a good initial filter. So go on Zillow and look for the Zestimate value of a property. This property you can see right here has a Zestimate of $147,000. And what you want to do is you want to find a rental property that will rent for 1% of the purchase price of this property. Now the rent estimate on this property is about $1,400, so it's just a few dollars short, so you may think this is a pass. However, you want rent to be 1% of your cost of the property. If you're buying this property for $147,000, you're buying it at market value, and you just missed the 1% rule. However, if you fully understand how to invest, you'll be buying below market value. As long as you're buying this thing below $140,000, the 1% rule is hit, and you should look in further and pursue. You should be getting these things 20% below market value, so your rent should be about 1% of 80% of the market value, if that makes sense. However, there's a lot more due diligence to do, but you know this one's worth pursuing. This can get tricky because as you can see this house just up the road, the market value of $188,000, and the rent estimate is $1,600. So this one's a little bit further apart, but again, if you're buying this property for $130,000, $140,000 and it's renting for $1,600, you beat that 1% rule, and it's possible that this will be a deal that will cash flow. So if they're close, it's probably worth pursuing, but if you find a property that's worth $250,000 on the market and the rent estimate shows $1,500, you know that that's probably not going to be a cash flowing rental, so you can move on. We're looking to narrow our range of properties that we do deep dives in. If it passes the 1% rule, then we're going to do a little bit deeper dive and actually use the cash flow formula. Take our rent, subtract out all of our expenses. Within reason, we'll know them, and that'll give us a number and see if it actually cash flows or not. The first thing we do is put in the monthly rent. So for that first example, we'll put in $1,400. I know it says $1,423 for the rent estimate, but let's just do $1,400 to keep it simple. First expense you need to figure out is real estate property taxes. This is very simple. Zillow has the previous year real estate property tax, so just take that number and divide it by 12. The next thing to account for is insurance. You can definitely get insurance quotes, but for general, I would say $100 a month is probably safe if you're looking in some of these rental type markets. Next is vacancy. Always put in 10% vacancy. So whatever the property rents for, set 10% aside every single month for vacancy. This property rents for $1,400, so you need to put $140 aside every month for vacancy. Repairs and maintenance, again, I would use that 10% number and put 10% aside every single month for repairs and maintenance. If you're buying this properly with the BRRRR method, you're going to have a freshly rehab house to rent. You should not have a maintenance call every single month, so this money can stack up for bigger expense months. The next expense to account for is CapEx. This one, you have some flexibility depending on your level of risk and how much money you have saved in your business savings account. But between 5 and 10% of rent, set that aside every single month so you have that built up for when you do have to replace the roof or when you do have to replace a HVAC system. But again, hopefully those are all replaced when you're rehabbing the property before you get it listed, and you don't have to mess with that out of pocket, but it's nice to have that money just in case. The next is property management. Again, set aside 10% every single month of your rent as property management. Even if you manage the property yourself, it's important to have this money set aside so that if you do ever hire it out, you're not digging into cash flow and maybe negatively cash flowing. And lastly, your principal and interest. This one should be very easy. You should know about what you're going to have in this property. For a general rule of thumb, put in 80% of the market value, and then you should know generally the terms of your loan and plug that into a mortgage calculator, and that will be your monthly payment. The result should be rent minus all your pretty much known expenses, and you want, in my opinion, at least $200 left over. This is accounting for a lot of different things. There's equity built in. Hopefully you have some money in reserves, but you're setting a lot of money aside for property tax, for CapEx, for vacancy, for maintenance, for property management, a lot of things that you may or may not actually be using. So your money in your account should grow more than $200 a month, but you have to be disciplined and understand that there will be months you will have to pull from that, but it should grow over time. And $200 is a good baseline, because if you buy rental properties this way, you're not going to cash flow a ton, but it's still worth doing. Your cash flow will come from your flips or your wholesales. Your wealth will come from your rentals, because this property you're buying will double in value in the next 15 years, and you get tax savings, and someone else is paying down the mortgage, principal, and interest. So the cash flow is a side note. It's the icing on the cake, not the cake. Now, where to find deals? Of course, there are a few deals you can find on Zillow or the MLS, but those are very rare because the amount of eyeballs on them are large. If you want to find good distressed properties, I suggest finding them off market by joining your local real estate investing Facebook groups, by joining your local real estate investing meetup groups, and talking with wholesalers and investor-friendly real estate agents. If you've never been to one of those things or talk with other investors in the space, those are the key to finding good distressed properties. They find the deal and bring it to you, and they get paid at closing, not before. It's a home run. Your homework this week is to analyze at least one deal. If somebody sends you one, use that. If not, just go on Zillow and follow the process that I just showed you to quickly underwrite a deal to see if it makes sense to do that deep dive in. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and make sure to subscribe so you see the other videos I have in this series and all the other videos I'm going to make this year that will help you buy your first or next rental property in 2026. And of course, make sure you check the description of this video for a link to my free relaunch school community. There's hundreds of videos, a ton of trainings, and there's a community that I've built for free on school that will allow you to understand and learn and invest in real estate better. The link is in the description. I'll see you on the next one.